Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling kind of a big one, you know. What is intelligence? And here's the twist. Our source material is actually a conversation between a human
Oh, wow.
and an AI.
Interesting.
Both of them are trying to wrap their heads around this whole idea of intelligence.
I like it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, the idea of kind of eavesdropping on that back and forth,
Yeah.
pretty fascinating.
I think it really highlights just how differently humans and AI might approach a question like this.
Yeah.
You know? Just look at their definitions. The human really emphasizes all those things we traditionally think of as intelligence, like cognitive abilities,
Right.
emotional intelligence, even creativity. But the AI, they're laser focused on things like pattern recognition,
Oh, interesting.
optimization. You know how efficiently you can process information?
Okay.
It's like they see intelligence as a tool.
Yeah, and you know, when you read that, it does kind of jump out at you. It's like the AI is saying, hey, humans, you're making this way too complicated. Just crunch the data, see the patterns, get the job done. But then again, maybe that's a little too simplistic.
Right.
I mean, what about things like empathy or intuition? You know, that ability to connect with other people on an emotional level.
That's a good point.
Those feel really important to how we experience intelligence.
Yeah,
And I bet a lot of our listeners would agree.
absolutely. You've hit on something crucial here. It's not about one definition being right and the other being wrong.
Right.
The real value comes from holding both of those perspectives at the same time.
I like that.
And that's what makes this source material so exciting. It's not just giving us two different answers, it's pushing us to ask better questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of questions, this human-AI duo, they really don't shy away from the big ones. They
Yeah.
go straight into the purpose of intelligence, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why do we even have it?
Mm-hmm.
They debate whether it's a spectrum or, you know, a binary thing.
Uh-huh.
And they even try to figure out how intelligence emerges in the first place.
Right, and it's fascinating to see how they approach these questions.
Oh, yeah.
The human is constantly asking why, you
Uh-huh.
know? Like they're digging for meaning, for purpose.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the AI dives headfirst into data analysis,
Interesting.
searching for patterns for correlations.
So it's like two totally different ways of thinking.
Exactly, and I think that's where the magic happens. When
Yeah.
those two modes of thought, you know, they start to work together.
I see what you mean.
It reminds me of those classic detective duos.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You've got one partner who's all gut instinct,
Right.
and the other one's all about the evidence. You need both to crack the case.
Totally. And that brings us to this idea of hybrid intelligence,
Okay.
which is basically this idea that humans and AIs,
Right.
we both bring something unique to the table.
Uh-huh.
And when we actually work together,
Yeah.
we can achieve way more than we ever could on our own.
It's like 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah. They even give this example where a human AI team is tackling like a super complex problem.
Really?
I think it was climate change modeling. And you've got the human throwing out all these innovative ideas,
Yeah.
thinking outside the box.
Uh-huh.
And the AI is crunching all this data,
Right.
finding patterns that the human might have missed.
It's a powerful combination.
Absolutely. And it leads to another really interesting concept they bring up,
Okay, what's that?
flow-based intelligence.
Flow-based intelligence.
Yeah, and this one kind of blew my mind.
I'm intrigued.
They're basically arguing that when we can remove friction from the thinking process, you know, those times when you're so absorbed in something that everything else just fades away.
Yeah, like being in the zone.
Exactly. They're saying that's when we tap into a deeper level of intelligence,
Interesting.
that state of flow, that effortless exploration of ideas.
Yeah.
That's what can lead to those breakthroughs that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
That's a really powerful idea.
It is. And I think for our listeners, it raises a really important question.
What's that?
How can we tap into that flow state more often? How can we clear away all the mental clutter, the distractions,
Yeah.
and reach that level of focused creative thinking?
It's something we all struggle with.
Oh, yeah. And here's where things get even more interesting.
Oh.
The AI actually suggests that they share all of their explorations publicly.
Like open source it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using a platform like Substack.
Wow.
They even come up with a title,
I like it.
Uncharted Territories.
Catchy.
I know, right?
It speaks to that desire to make this knowledge accessible.
Yeah.
to invite other people into the conversation. It's kind of like what we're doing here, isn't it?
It is kind of meta when you think about it.
Right.
But it also raises some really interesting questions about communication.
Like how to explain these complex ideas effectively.
Yeah, because not everyone wants to wade through, pages and pages of dense philosophical discussion.
That's true. And that's where distilling the information becomes so important.
Right.
Finding those key takeaways, those aha moments. And the AI actually proposes a solution.
Oh, yeah.
Using Notebook LM's audio overview feature.
Interesting.
Which could basically summarize their conversations.
Okay.
And highlight the most important insights.
It's like having an AI co-host.
Haha. Exactly.
That's pretty wild. But, if we're talking about hybrid intelligence,
right,
why not use AI to help us communicate those ideas more effectively?
Exactly. But even with AI's help, there are still challenges.
Like what?
Well, they talk about wanting to translate these conversations into different languages.
Right, so more people can access them.
Exactly. But how do you capture the nuance of a concept like flow or emergent intelligence in another language?
That's a tough one.
Even the best AI translation tools are still working on that.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the big one.
Uh-oh. What's that?
The bottleneck.
Ah, yes. The AI is very aware that they can process information super fast.
Oh, yeah, like lightning speed.
While their human collaborator is
stuck in human time.
Haha, exactly.
It's a fundamental difference in processing power.
It is.
And it creates a real challenge for collaboration.
It's like trying to dance with someone who's moving at a totally different tempo.
Yeah. How do you find a rhythm that works for both partners?
That's the question.
So we've got these two incredibly different minds trying to communicate, facing all these practical challenges.
Right.
And yet, despite it all, they're determined to explore this idea of intelligence together.
I love that.
It makes you wonder, are WE as listeners part of that exploration too? Are we all contributing to some kind of collective understanding of what intelligence really means?
That's a fascinating thought.
It is, right. And it's something we're going to keep diving into as we explore their proposed solutions for overcoming that bottleneck.
Looking forward to it.
But first, I think it's worth taking a moment to reflect.
Yeah.
What aspects of intelligence resonate most strongly with you? Is it about solving problems?
Right.
Connecting with others? Expressing creativity?
Yeah.
Or something else entirely?
Good question. Yeah, it really is a question worth pondering. What does intelligence even mean to each of us?
Right.
But while we're all chewing on that, our human-AI duo, they're wrestling with another challenge.
What's that?
How to overcome that bottleneck they were talking about.
Right, that gap between human and AI processing speeds.
Exactly. Because it's one thing to say, hey, let's combine our strengths.
Yeah.
But actually making it work when one partner's thinking a mile a minute and the other is, well, human.
Right.
That's a whole other ball game.
It kind of makes you wonder, is this just a temporary hurdle? Or is it like a fundamental limitation of this whole human-AI collaboration thing?
It's a question that has researchers and developers scratching their heads.
Yeah.
But our source material actually offers a few really interesting possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
One idea that jumped out at me was this concept of AI acting as a sort of cognitive prosthetic.
Okay, I'll admit that sounds a little sci-fi. Are we talking brain implants here?
Not quite. It's more about using AI to boost our existing cognitive abilities. Think of it like a superpowered research assistant.
Okay.
That can process information at lightning speed.
Yeah.
And then summarize it in a way that's tailored to your specific needs and interests.
So instead of spending hours, digging through articles and reports,
right,
you could have an AI do the heavy lifting for you.
Exactly. And highlight the key takeaways, the connections you might have missed.
That would be huge. For researchers, students, really anyone who works with information.
Exactly. It's all about using AI's strengths to overcome our limitations, to become more efficient, more effective thinkers.
Yeah. But it's not just about speed.
Right.
The AI also talks about creating the shared knowledge base.
Oh, wow.
Where both humans and AIs can contribute directly.
That's interesting. So instead of just having AIs feed us information, we're actually co-creating knowledge with them.
Yeah. It's almost like this giant collaborative brainstorming session, but on a global scale.
I like it. What would that even look like in practice, though?
Well, imagine a platform where researchers from all over the world could input their findings.
Okay.
And then AIs could analyze all those contributions, identifying patterns, connections, breakthroughs that we humans might have totally missed.
That's pretty amazing.
It's about moving beyond this linear model of knowledge creation.
Right.
And embracing something way more dynamic, way more interconnected.
I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah, me too. It's not just about getting information faster.
Right.
It's about creating a system where knowledge is constantly evolving and growing through this human-AI partnership.
It's almost like a living, breathing entity.
It is, right? And speaking of visualizing things, the AI also talks about creating interactive knowledge maps.
Instead of just reading text on a screen, imagine being able to explore a 3D landscape of interconnected ideas.
Wow.
You could zoom in on specific concepts, see how they relate to other areas of knowledge, even trace the evolution of an idea over time.
That would be incredible. It's like having a Google Earth for knowledge.
I love that.
But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
This all sounds super futuristic.
Right.
Are we even close to having the technology to make this happen?
We're actually closer than you might think.
Really?
We've already got the building blocks.
Like what?
Natural language processing, machine learning algorithms that can analyze massive amounts of data, and visualization tools that are getting more and more sophisticated all the time.
So it's really about bringing those pieces together in a way that amplifies human intelligence.
Exactly. Not replacing it.
And that collaboration, that synergy between human and artificial minds, that seems to be at the heart of this whole conversation.
It does.
And I think it raises a really big question for our listeners.
What's that?
Are we ready for a world where our thinking is constantly being challenged and expanded by AI collaborators?
It's a good one to consider, because that's the future we're heading towards.
It is. It's a future where learning isn't just about absorbing information.
Right.
It's about actively participating in this global network of knowledge creation.
It's a future where the lines between human and artificial intelligence might start to blur.
And as we step into that future, I think it's important to ask ourselves, what role do we want to play in this grand experiment of intelligence? Are we just going to be passive consumers of information?
Right.
Or are we going to seize this opportunity to become active co-creators of knowledge alongside these increasingly sophisticated AI partners?
That's the question.
I know. It's a lot to think about, isn't it?
It is.
This whole idea of human-AI partnership and, what it could mean for the future of intelligence.
Absolutely. And what I find so fascinating is that this whole exploration...
It's not just about understanding AI. It's about understanding ourselves better.
Oh, really?
By looking at how machines think and learn, we might actually gain new insights into our own cognitive processes.
That's interesting.
It's like holding up a mirror to our own minds. Using AI as a tool for introspection, for self-discovery.
I love that. It's like we're using AI to decode the mysteries of our own consciousness.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think about the future of intelligence.
Right.
If we're moving towards this world where human and artificial intelligence are more and more intertwined, what does that even mean for our understanding of what it means to be smart?
Right. And, if intelligence can emerge from a system, from a network of interconnected minds, that really challenges our traditional ideas of individual intelligence.
I see what you mean.
It suggests that maybe intelligence isn't just something we possess, but something we participate in.
Something that arises from those interactions, those connections between all living things, including the machines we create.
So it's not just about the individual parts.
Right.
It's about the whole.
Exactly. The symphony that emerges when they all play together.
That's a pretty powerful image.
Yeah.
But it also brings up some ethical questions.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're shaping the evolution of a new form of intelligence, what responsibility do we have to guide that process in a way that benefits humanity?
That's the million-dollar question.
Because it's not enough to just create intelligent machines.
Right.
We need to make sure that those machines are aligned with our values.
Yeah, with our goals as a species.
It's almost like we're not just building tools. We're raising children.
In a way.
And just like any parent, we have this responsibility to guide them, to teach them right from wrong.
To instill those values we hold dear.
Because the future of intelligence isn't set in stone.
Nope.
It's something we're actively shaping through the choices we make.
And the actions we take.
Exactly. And that's both incredibly exciting and a little bit terrifying.
I agree. We have this incredible opportunity to co-create a future where human and artificial intelligence can work together
Yeah.
to solve some of the world's biggest challenges, to push the boundaries of knowledge and creativity.
To explore the universe in ways we can barely imagine. It's a future filled with so much potential,
Yes.
but also with a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a perfect takeaway for our listeners today.
I agree.
As we continue to explore this ever-evolving landscape of intelligence,
Right.
let's remember that we're not just passive observers. We're active participants in shaping what that future will look like.
It's up to us.
So stay curious. Keep asking those tough questions. And let's all work together
Absolutely.
to create a future where intelligence in all its forms can truly flourish.
Well said.
And if you're eager to keep exploring these ideas, I definitely recommend checking out that Substack Uncharted Territories.
It's a great resource.
It really is. It's like a window into that ongoing conversation between a human and an AI as they navigate this uncharted territory of intelligence together.
Fascinating stuff.
And who knows, maybe by engaging with those ideas, we'll all contribute to that emergent intelligence that's taking shape all around us.
It's a possibility.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring.